Getting fitted for your driver could be a game changer in terms of hitting more fairways and of course hitting the golf ball further. Today I have two fitted drivers that cost very different amounts. In one corner we have one of the best drivers of 2025, of course the TaylorMade Qi35 LS driver. This would set you back circa £529, but I also went and got fitted for the brand new Vice VGD01 Plus driver. This is around £379, around 150 quid's worth of difference here. How much difference does that mean out here in the golf course, and of course when it comes to numbers? So you can see both these drivers are very similar specs. They're both 10.5 degree. Both of them do have carbon elements as well. Now the Qi35 has a full carbon sole, a three-way adjustable weighting system, and you can see that through slot speed pocket on the bottom. Also has a lovely infinity carbon crown, which I think looks really nice. I do think that looks nicer in black though when you do see the My TaylorMade Qi35 drivers. The Vice driver has, I think, the best looking crown I've ever seen. It's got that lovely kind of carbon weave on top there. It's a multi-material design. It doesn't have a carbon sole, but it does have that kind of rear weighting there just to shove CG back a little bit. Now this is the Plus version, so it is the lower spin version, even though it doesn't have kind of visible front weights. We do have adjustable sleeves on both these clubs as well. So Bobby, which one should we go with first? Vice. Now guys, get in the comments, because these videos are more about you than they are about me, and I love to hear your opinions and what you think is going to happen. How much difference will there be, both where we don't have the launch monitor, but also when we do start to see different kind of numbers and spin rates and ball speeds? Will there be a huge difference? Should you maybe, sorry Bob, I've put the head covers right where you want to stand, haven't I? Should you be spending upwards of £500–600 on a driver, or should you just be looking at something like this? I really enjoyed the fitting experience with both of these brands as well. So we've got someone right in our way, Bob, and a towy hook, and he's gone, isn't he? We'll give him some time. We'll give him some time. 2 hours later. Right, both these shafts are 65 gram. The Vice one is an Aldilla Vice Golf Whiz, so they sought out the guys at Aldilla to help them with shaft. It looks so good down at the ball. How does it perform? Wow. That felt really good. And what oh, it's just kicked left though. It might have just come back into fairway. It took an awful, it has come back into fairway. I love that hasn't launched too high. At 10.5 degrees, visually that looks like it's spinning around 2000. We will come to numbers, so stay tuned. It was a touch heely, like just there, a little bit low heel, so it might have robbed us of a tiny bit of ball speed, but I don't think it's done too bad at all. Now we all know the TaylorMade's gonna be one of the best performing drivers of the year. That's why I'm comparing it to this Vice driver. Of course, fitted in my specs, which means, to be honest, very similar specs. That's one of the things I was impressed with both fittings, just how similar they really were. Can we hit a similar shot with the TaylorMade? Very nice again. Carbon copy ball flight wise, it started a little bit more central, and that one's just peeling off to the right just a little bit. Let's get down there, let's see what the differences are on this par 5 and see if you could save yourself a ton of money, or if you really should be spending on the latest and greatest of 2025. So in round 1, we have the TaylorMade that's just missed the fairway. The Vice has just hit the fairway over on the left-hand side, altogether with that vicious kick. And the TaylorMade's gone maybe a couple of yards further. Bobby, which one would you give in round 1 here? Would you go fairway, or would you go just missed the fairway but a yard longer?
Tie.
A tie. Right, Bobby says we're going to go a tie for round 1. So let's find in fact, we're going to go to the hardest hole on this golf course, really put these drivers through the paces and really see where we should be spending our money. They're two great tee shots down the par 5 though, aren't they? I'm taking those all day. Right, if this tee shot was a person, I'd smack it in the face. I've never hit anybody in the face in my life, I'm not that kind of person, but I just really don't like it. We're going to go TaylorMade Qi35 first this time. And I'm going to just try and hit some, I guarantee we probably won't hit this fairway. So there's that. I'm just going to try and hit as hard as I can. These are the low spin models. Both these clubs do have standard versions. So the Qi35, this is the LS. We do have the core head. I think the core head's the lovely middle ground actually with this driver. I may or may not have like gone, can we fit into this one? Because that's the kind of person I am. We may or may not have done the same with the Vice. Who knows? The Vice standard head is really nice. It's a lot cheaper. So it's like £300. So you are paying more for the low spin model of the Vice. Right, come on Bob, left shoulder up, sternum back, club path shallow, and just send it. Oh, I think that's so good, it's just out to the right. Now what I really like about that is that's the that's the ball flight that's really powerful and penetrating. It wasn't like a weak, heely, cutty one, it was like a proper, just a little bit to the right. So I don't particularly mind that as a shot, and it's done really well for distance. So it's not in danger, which is good. You're thinking the Ralph Wiggum meme there, aren't you?
I'm in danger.
Trying at a similar shot, left shoulder up, sternum back. That's better, isn't it? That's the draw that we want, and that's, again, it's missed the fairway, but that wasn't why we came to this hole. Let's go and see which one's got further up there. Let's see which one's more in play. And Bobby, you're not allowed to sit on the fence on this one. We're going to have to pick a winner. Okay? There seems to be a consistency pattern here, and I know there's a word for that, I just can't think of it. A theme, that's it, Bob. Just to the left again with the Vice, just to the right again with the TaylorMade. So I do think that might be something which, if you do struggle with one side of the golf course, that might be something to think about. I'm going to give this one the TaylorMade just on the basis that it launched better. Like, you look at the two ball flights, this was a little bit low and dippy. The TaylorMade, very similar swing, just held onto the face a little bit longer to keep it open. So we know 1-0 to the TaylorMade here, but to be honest, again, if you look at the price difference, we're doing pretty well, aren't we? That could just be down to the shaft as well. Obviously, they are very similar stiffness in shaft, they are very similar weight, or exactly the same weight in shaft. Could just be down to that kind of torsional stiffness as well. So let's find another tee shot. We'll try and bomb these as hard as we can, and before that, no, after that, we're going to talk some numbers, because it could get very interesting. Okay, out of the frying pan and into the fire. It doesn't get any easier with this 16th tee shot. Can the Vice Golf VGD01 Plus claw it back? We'll go with the Vice first off this time, and we'll see if we can set one out there. You would rather be slightly left and slightly right here, so maybe that is a little bit of a kind of benefit for that, but to be honest, we're just going to try and hit as close to the middle of the fairway as we can with both of these clubs. How good does that look, by the way? And the Plus has got like more of a ridge as well, you know, rather than it being like if you look at both the crowns, it's two very different ways, isn't it, of doing carbon. Like two very different head shapes. I think it's nice to have the low spin model still a bit elongated, but again, that's where with the Qi35, that core model is still fantastic, because you still have the movable weight technology. You can just move it front and back instead of the kind of three-way that you do have on there. So really, like, I think I'm just saying the Qi35 core model's a fantastic driver, aren't I? But, right, come on, James. Do you remember how far Marco hit this? That's really good. That is really good. That's ever so slightly toey, but it's come off like an absolute cannon. That's bounding down the left side of the fairway again. And one of the funny things is, whenever I test D2C drivers, be it a Kirkland, be it a Tacoma, be it a Vice, if you do get them ever so slightly toey, I feel like that's the kind of sweet spot. And I'm sure the guys at Vice will totally disagree with me there and want me to hit it there, but for me personally, I find it just finds that lovely spin window and that lovely flight window that I would want it to. Now, before we talk numbers, let's finish off this on-course segment, because numbers, you're not really thinking too much about where you're aiming or anything like that. You're just hitting it as hard as you can, aren't you? Whereas here, I've got a ball in play. It's almost like a match play situation. I've got a ball in play. I need to hit a good one. So without any further ado, let's see what we can find. Oh no! And you see, that's the difference, because that, to be honest, it's the first bad drive we've hit in this whole scenario, but was a similar high toe strike, and it's just geared closed a bit, and it's just gone in that left-hand rough. We can see the winner from here, can't we? That's one apiece, which means it goes to the numbers. Do your magic, Bob. Oh, how good's that, by the way? Oh, opening shot with the Vice.
So I wanted to test the numbers out on the golf course just to see if I could actually hit nice long drives using the Golf Zone Wave launch monitor, and aiming at a fairway. You can see I hit a couple left, hit a couple right, but actually when testing them, we got some really good numbers with, I'm going to say, both of these drivers. I think we have to think about the price bracket and the technology that goes into these drivers, and to be honest, the TaylorMade Qi35, it keeps proving me wrong time after time after time. I didn't really get on with it at the start of the year, but I hit some of the longest drives I've hit all year in this test, carrying well over 280 yards with the TaylorMade Qi35 LS. Now, the Vice driver actually carried pretty well. We got a couple over 270 yards, up to the 280 yards. The spin rates were that little bit higher than with the TaylorMade Qi35 LS, but realistically, when it comes to it, guys, get in the comments below which driver could you see yourself buying in 2025 when it comes to the price.